Hey everybody, welcome back to the Armed Scotsman. Today on the table we're going to go over this Designator IR-V. Let's get this one going. I know somebody will say that maybe I should go somewhere darker, less light pollution, but this is it without the night vision on. Just shows you how impressive. That town is miles away, and it's a very small town. But there's some maybe some headlights over there. But it is very, very, very dark up here. There is very, very little light pollution. That light over there is like half a mile away, something like that. It's way, way far away. Very, very dark here. Alright folks, as I said, we're going to go over the Designator IR-V. This is made by 3IER. I think they're more commonly known by made by US Night Vision. However, 3IER actually makes them and then rebrands them for US Night Vision. So this is the company that actually is the original maker. Quick backstory. This is my night vision gun. People are going to ask, I know. So this is specifically set up for night vision for me. It's got my EOTech Combo EXPS 3-0. Radiant charging handle. It's a Knights SBR AR-15. Up the top here, obviously we have the Designator. We have a Surefire Vampire. This is the shorter version, obviously. And then I have a click tilt switch up here. So it has both. So you get the pressure pad, which is a mod light button, and I have the Surefire click button too. So if the pressure pad ever goes down, then I can still use this. And Surefire RC2. Anyway, that's about it. All right. So let's dive in and talk about this. So actually, for the longest time, I was using a Steiner A3. Well, let's just get it out there. It's not the best. At the time I got it, it was a pretty reasonable price. Years ago, obviously, illuminators and things like that, they've all jumped in price a ton. I had a problem with my A3. I had a prolapse socket, terrible name, where I was using an aftermarket switch, which you're not supposed to on Steiners. Pulled it out and I pulled the socket out with it. Apparently, it's a very common problem on Steiner, but you're supposed to use their OEM pressure pads, but they suck. Just that's what it is, and I wanted to use an aftermarket one. So anyway, the reason why I ended up looking into getting one of these is because I sent it back into Steiner to get it repaired, and they're like, it will be at least 3 months turnaround time, which is just unacceptable. I was looking for a illuminator with an IR laser, etc., performance. That it's not going to cost me the same as a freaking mall or the X-ray E or whatever the hell it's called. They're like $3,000. So we have the 3IER. So let's go over this. I'm going to change the camera angle around to give you a nice close-up look at this, and we'll go over its features. All right, so let's go over this. I've kind of stripped the gun down a little bit, so it's easier for me to kind of maneuver around here and show you. Okay, so the first thing you obviously want to point out is how low that sits to the rail. That is just incredible how low that is. Very, very cool indeed. One of its best features, I think, is how low profile this is. Very, very cool. So when I ran the Steiner on top there, and I was running, I was looking through my EXPS or my EOTech, I would see the top of it in the window. Now, this is so low profile, I actually don't see that. Now, I don't realize some people would run risers on here, so it'd sit a little higher so you wouldn't see your, IR device, but you don't have to do it with this. It's so low profile, so very cool. Okay, so let's talk about the construction of the outside. It says it's 3D printed, it's a special kind of plastic. Let me tell you, it sounds like it would be cheap. It doesn't feel that way in the slightest. It feels very high quality, very, very solid in hand. I was definitely surprised when I picked it up, and I was like, oh, you know what, this feels really, really good in hand. Now, some people will knock it for being 3D printed, being plastic, but you know what, so is a PEC 50, and they're obviously plastic as well, plastic polymer. So don't let that put you off. These are very, very cool. Okay, so this is kind of a version 2, we're going to call it, because they did have a version out before this. Now, they don't have a Gen 1 and Gen 2. That's not how they refer to these. I did speak to someone over there, asked a bunch of questions. Super helpful people, very, very good. And they did say, obviously, they said that they don't have a Gen 1 and Gen 2. Obviously, there is a bunch of upgrades that they did say, but they're always trying to improve their product. So they haven't referred to as a Gen 1 or Gen 2. So some of the things that have changed, we'll start on the top here. And we have this because they teamed up with Arasaka, and so that's where some of the big improvements came from. So the button was upgraded, has this nice textured Arasaka button on top here. Now, I've got to tell you that the positioning is excellent. So when I've got this shouldered, obviously it's perfect for me to tap my thumb right onto the center to fire that button. It's perfect. I don't need another tape switch or anything like that. That works, because this is a short barreled rifle, remember, as well, so it's only 11.5 inch. If it wasn't a 16 inch, I'd probably have a tape switch further back. But being this a short barreled rifle, putting my thumb over here to fire works perfectly for me. And then, as I say, if I need to hit my light, if I put it on the IR off or whatever, I can fire that from there. So the position of that button is excellent, and as I say, with the texturing on there, it feels really good. I definitely know that I'm on it. Very cool indeed. One of the other things they did is they upgraded with Arasaka is their mount right here. So this is actually a metal mount. That's kind of the Arasaka logo right there. So it is metal now, because before it was plastic / polymer, however you like to call it. And I don't think people were a big fan of that, which I can understand. So they did upgrade this to metal. Now, people were like, well, it goes into plastic on the other side. Well, technically it does, but it goes through the plastic into another metal piece inside of the unit. As I say, I did speak to 3IER, and he did tell me that. So it does go from metal to metal. It just goes through the polymer plastic on the other side here and into a metal piece in the inside. So that was another big improvement that they did. I found this to be very secure. I've had no problems. I've owned this for a few months now. I've shot it with a bunch, and no problems. Hasn't loosened up. Hasn't done anything. It feels very secure on there. Moving up to the top. Oh, actually, let's go to the buttons. So you got the buttons here. There will be, and I might not get these in exact order because I'm going off of memory, but you have the illuminator, you have the illuminator plus IR laser, you have just the IR laser, and then you have visible IR laser. And so you've got this little knob here. It's pretty easy to actuate. I can't remember what setting I'm on right now. I think I'm on visible. So you can turn them. They don't make a positive click, but they do make you do feel like kind of a clunk, like you can feel it going into position. So even though it doesn't make that visible kind of kind of a click you might expect, it does. You do have a feeling of a thunk, like it is going into position, and it stays there. So that is the adjustments right there. So you do have an option here to add a crimp plug. So if you want to add like a mod switch or something like that to fire this, you can. And the nice thing is that about this is it will accept any aftermarket switches, and you're not going to have that prolapse socket like I talked about, which is kind of a big deal. So you do have that option. As I said, with the length of this barrel and the positioning, it's just perfect for me to fire directly off the button there. So we do have your battery compartment right here. So this does take a CR123 battery, and it has a battery lifetime of approximately 5 hours or less, depending on what you're doing. And then moving it to the side here, this is your adjustment here and here. Now this is I'm not going to adjust these on camera because it is already zeroed. And the reason I don't want to do that is because they don't make any audible clicks. You just turn them. There's no clicks in any kind of way. It's like a smooth turn. So when you zero, it's kind of frustrating because you can't tell how many clicks you got to go or anything like that. You just got to turn it until you get, if that makes sense, you know, with an Allen key, until you get where you need to go. So I would have liked to see some audible and tactile clicks in here, just so zeroing would be a lot easier. And actually putting on, you know, maybe the up, you know, is left and down is right, and something like that. So when I'm also, you know, I have to refer back to the user manual to know which way is which. Maybe have some indication on which way to turn for zeroing would have been nice also. But at the end of the day, once this is set and zeroed, you should be good to go. This is the 3IER logo right here. Obviously, you've got a couple different things here. Moving it to the front. Okay, so on the left, this is the V-cell. I'm going to call it a V-cell. I'm probably getting that wrong, but this is your illuminator. It is freaking fantastic. It's really, really good. Like miles beyond the A3. Very, very impressive. And I'm not trying to slate on just dump on the A3, the Steiner A3. It's just because I owned one, and that's kind of why I'm referencing to it. So this blows it out of the water in pretty much every way. So with this down, you're going to spread your beam. And with that open like so, and then this will have a direct beam. The beam goes out, and on IR, the illuminator goes out to about 800 meters, they said. I was lighting up things all the way across, and I was up a place I stay at. It's got a frozen lake, and I was going all the way across to a little hill on the other side. And that's quite a distance. Don't ask me exactly what it is, but it's quite a distance, more so than I'd be probably comfortable shooting at night. So it definitely lights up far. It's very impressive, and this piece is obviously tethered, and I guess on the previous version that wasn't the case, but this works really well. You can see it goes on here, goes up, stays in place really well, and then you'll notice it's got a couple of like indents right there. When you close this and it sits on there, it's pretty snug. So really like it, very happy. On the other side, we have a visible laser and your IR laser here. They are tethered together, so if you zero one, the other one will be zeroed, which is very nice. The laser is the visible laser is a typical commercially available 5 milliwatt, something like that. It's we're what you were permitted by the government, right? We're not allowed to have the really Gucci stuff and give ourselves LASIK. So we are restricted on the laser. So the laser is going to be pretty much the same kind of laser out there in the market, and it is a green visible laser. And again, it works really good. I think the daylight brightness, I think they mentioned, was like 50 meters. The IR laser, I believe they said it goes out to like 800 meters, something like that. It goes far, probably further than what we would need. So that is kind of the overall review of this. It has been absolutely great. I've really liked this, like super impressed with the functionality, the form, the performance. Very cool piece of kit. I'm really glad that I did switch personally from my other one to this. Now, typically, I think I would put my light on this side since there's a little bit more room, but because I told you this is a short barrel rifle, if I have that sitting over here, it kind of gets in the way of my hand and my grip and being able to fire that button. So that's why it's on the other side. Actually, while firing that, I just remembered something. Okay, so and another neat thing about this device is there's a little piece right here, maybe a little hard to see. Let me see if I can get a little closer. There's a little nubbin right here, a little bulb, and so when you fire it, it stays on. So now, which is nice because and I'm visible right now, so you can see the green light. But if I'm on like IR and maybe I don't have my headset on, and then if you double click the button, it will constantly stay on like so, and so you know that it's lit. Now it's raised, so you cannot see it from the other side. I can only see it on my side, and it's a very small dim red light, so it's not going to give you away or anything like that. But yeah, so if I'm on IR and maybe I'm done with what I'm doing and I'm like, I don't have my my night vision on, I can tell that this is still on just by looking in there. So you can switch it off, single, goes on and off, and then you can just double tap and it will constantly stay on for you, which again is another good feature, another great feature I really like. Okay, so let's talk about price of these. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that everything has jumped up in price in this market, which sucks. So you are going to be looking at paying around $2,000 for this piece of gear. Now, people are going to be like, what? Night vision gear is just expensive. It's just what it is. If you're getting into the market, be prepared to drop some coin. Now, again, I said this blows the A3 out of the water. The performance-wise with the illuminator, I would say is very reminiscent to a D-Ball D2, but with the D2, it is a bulky unit, and this definitely has it beat on form factor. Now, it's going to be, $300-400 more expensive, but for me, well, just remember the D2 is going to have that socket prolapse issue as well. For me, having great customer service, when I spoke to them, they said if they have anything come back for repairs, they will have it generally in and out the door within a week, not compared to 3 months with Steiner, which is a big deal for me. I do like great customer service. If I do have a problem, I do want to get it fixed, and I'm not happy that I'm waiting so long to have my other one fixed. But anyway, so great customer service, great, as I say, great form. Just look at that. Look how low that is. Very cool. All right, folks, I don't want to bore you to tears. Great product, as I said. Check out 3IER, the Designator IR-V. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me, folks. If you have any questions, any comments, please ask them below. Happy to help out wherever I can. And until next time, we'll catch you later.